Gideon, are we rolling?
Yeah, I think
check 1 2, check 1 2.
Check 1 2 3.
I've been looking forward to this chat.
I think Gideon talks away to make sure I can hear you alright.
Testing 1 2 3. Test.
Alright, good.
He's having a blast.
Fort Lauderdale in the background. This is cool. Anyway, I've been looking forward to this. Thanks for buying me a beer. I think I'll start with that one. Thanks. So what's this all about?
Win in Fort Lickerdale.
For Win in Fort Lickerdale, yeah.
Okay, so I'm here with Jared Watney, who is in town and a good friend of mine from back home. And when I first heard you were coming to Fort Lauderdale, right? And my first thought was like, Jared, I want to do an interview with you.
Yeah.
Like, your story is super inspiring to me, because I'm at that point where I'm a creator and I'm doing what I love full time now. I've taken that filmmaking and photography and everything full time. The way that you have also taken all your skills and everything that you do and kind of put it into one career path, you're kind of like forging your own direction. I think it's super inspiring and super interesting how you got there.
Right.
And I only know parts of it from what we've had
small chats,
chats about and conversations. But I wanted to ask you, just kind of get to know a little bit about you and maybe the people that are out there and are also interested in your story. So basically, who is Jared Watney? Like, what do you do? If you had to introduce yourself to someone, how would you introduce yourself?
So I would, if I had to summarize it real fast, my name's Jared Watney. I am now in the process of trying to become a full-time YouTuber, and I've taken this year to dedicate solely towards creating content on the platform because it's what I love. And the moment I had some kind of peak of success within the channel, I realized I wanted to go full-time because I believed if you're half good at something and you've got a little bit of opportunity and you can afford to run with it, run with it. And so I create content orientated around all things yachting, and I travel the world trying to create and document the behind the scenes of the yachting world for the YouTube channel. But who is Jared Watney? Jared Watney is a guy that's trying to figure it out in the process. He doesn't have it all worked out. He's passionate about making film and meeting people. And I just think, it's going to depend on how far you want to dive back, but the sky's the limit, and I believe that you are solely limited by your own thoughts. Right. And so I believe that if I put my mind to something and give it full attention, that it's possible to make anything happen. Yeah, and I'm hoping that I can.
Right. Awesome. So now, if you had to bring that down into one sentence, what is your tagline? Like, what do you do? Jared Watney, I am. I'm a content creator for the yachting industry. That's a tough one.
So Jared Watney is a content creator around all things yachting.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or trying to be, at least.
No, I think you're doing it. Like, I think the one of the biggest things that inspires me about you is the way you are a doer. Like, you don't like talk about things. Like, I have a big thing about procrastination and like these plans and ideas. Like, even this interview, I planned it out and like I was thinking of like what angles to use, what cameras, all the sound and stuff. And whereas you're just like, let's do it right now. Okay, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's awesome about you. You're like a go-getter. And an
idea is great, but execution's better, right?
Exactly.
So I know I haven't perfected my craft.
And everyone's got ideas, but it's about putting it into action, actually executing on it.
Right. I would like to go back a bit. So we've got a friendship before coming here to Lauderdale, right?
Right.
I was useless with a camera, and in fact, I'm still not even that great. But we met, at an instant meet in Cape Town, which is like where Instagrammers get together to meet other community members, of which Gideon was just next level when it came to effort. Like, you sent me a text and said, let's go and do night photography, and it was like 1 a.m. Okay, I'd never done anything like that in my whole life. Okay,
that was awesome.
He arrived with like reflectors, and we had like, dude, it was steel wool. We made like this. You'll probably include the image here, but we did like this thing. Like, it was just a side of photography I'd never seen, right? But you must understand, like, it's as exciting for me to come and learn from you as it is to understand maybe how I did, or how I got to where I am now. Because I think you're right. I think I have not perfected my craft.
Right.
I'm working towards it. Right. Yeah, and I feel like there's room for improvement. No, absolutely.
I think that's the awesome thing, is like we're always always learning and always, you know, developing ourselves, and it's just great to meet like-minded people that, you know, have that constant forge ahead attitude. Now, I wanted to kind of ask you a couple of questions that dive into like the beginning.
Yeah, cool.
One of them is, what is the first time you realized you wanted to create content? Like when you fell in love with photography or video
exactly.
or cameras or everything, like what got you into that?
Right. So I certainly wasn't born with that. I think I always loved picking up a camera as a kid, but where it really started was I used to sell luxury property for a living. Okay, so I used to sell houses in a luxury area of Cape Town, and I felt like I really wanted a drone to showcase the angles of the house. You know, I wanted to give it that luxury element so that I could help my buyers understand what they were buying. But that was only because I happened to stumble upon a Casey Neistat video where he was talking about a drone. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I ended up buying a drone, which I could write off the tax as marketing for selling a house. But fell so in love with the process of launching the drone, flying it around a house, like capturing content for that like this spark of, oh my gosh, like this is so sick. Yeah, like I just loved it. I mean,
like when drones came out and
right.
the new technology,
I mean,
became consumer, everybody was
right.
like, wow.
I was flying a helicopter at 16 years old, so I love being in the air.
Right, and so helicopters was also one of your passions, right?
Helicopters
is.
Pilot's
license before you got a drone, or?
Yes, long before, but because of the expense of how expensive it is to fly, that kind of dream, I would say, lapsed a bit, and I haven't had the chance to really go in that direction.
Yeah.
But the drone was like I could just throw this thing up and get it up there and get a similar perspective, and I loved that perspective.
Right.
And so I fell in love with that whole process, the drone flying and the aerial visuals. So that's how it started with aerial, and I actually think a lot of people, the love for photography and film starts with drone.
You actually got me into drones because I met you. You had the Mavic.
That's right.
You know,
you snapped a photo of it.
One for a long time. I'd been seeing them, and you know, I'd been following them, but I never like really thought. I mean, like I did think I wanted to get one, but for me it was also like a gimmick kind of thing.
I think totally.
I'm very all about the quality of the image.
I realized.
I didn't think that the drone's images were like
gonna live up to that
quality until I tried yours, and then I was like, wow, that's actually
pretty insane.
It's pretty.
So yeah, it started with that. It started with selling property and thinking the drone would be a good tool to help profile it, but it was actually an excuse for something that I thought I really enjoyed doing as a hobby.
Right.
And so from there,
it all came together.
It all kind of came together. And then as soon as I did that, I was like, I need a camera.
Right.
Yeah. And then as soon as I started getting it, because I couldn't just have drone stuff. Like for me, it was
that's like one tool, right?
Right. So I was living my life off the idea of trying to create videos like Casey Neistat. Like I think a large amount of the guys that are starting today he started that kind of feeling. So I was like, oh, GoPro, like do a little bit of this, get the drone up, show where I am. And then I fell in love with the whole process. I love editing, I love filming, and I love putting it out there. And so because I loved the whole process, I realized that this is something that I really would like to do. So I made almost 80 videos before one did well.
Right.
And so when people ask me like, how do I start a YouTube channel and be successful in it, I say make 100 videos and you'll find out.
That was going to be my next question. So so getting to like what's happening with you right now, I think like you are like blowing up, which is awesome for you. Like I'm so stoked for your growth and your success and the trajectory that is happening for you right now, because I mean, look at the situation right now. You've just been flown over, right? From South Africa.
From South Africa
to so paid for all your expenses,
flights, accommodation,
film, yachts at the West Palm Beach Boat Show, and some
other content, training stuff. Everything yachting related for a boating company that does it all. It's like one company that does everything yachting. And so they flew me over because they were already getting business because of my videos. So they wanted to kind of cement the relationship.
Right.
And so I was flown over.
This is the first time this has happened because you just came from Australia.
I've just been flown to the Great Barrier Reef to profile a yacht owner's catamaran to create a promotional video for him, which is something I don't feel like that's what I became known for. Right. So it was really out of my comfort zone. And I feel like you would have been better in that position because you're in the professional scene. I'm not, but I'm happy to learn. And when I get thrown into an environment, I don't stress. I just go into this like focus mode of trying to do the best I can.
Right.
And that's how I feel about the majority of my videos. I don't want to spend 3 or 4 days editing them. I want them almost done in one edit and out there, and whatever that best video can be in that frame of mind that allows me to get more out there, that's what I go for. Yeah.
But I mean, I've been like so impressed with your edits and like the work that you put into all your videos and everything that have been coming out. Like,
thanks, man. Hopefully they're getting better each one, which is...
No, they are. That's the big thing, is that every time I see a new video of yours, I see the progress.
That's awesome.
Each video gets better.
But the only way that's going to happen is by doing more, right?
Doing it, exactly.
Yeah. And so I knew the more videos I make, the better I get. Look at Casey's channel, 400, 500, 600 videos. Yeah. Look at Mr. Ben Brown's, 1,200 videos. Like, I've only just scratched the surface, and that's the beauty of it. There's no limit. Yeah? And so for me, it's like, I don't want that instant gratification of putting 7 days into a shot, putting it out there and having 50 views. Nobody wants that, but that's where it might start for you, you know? And I think, don't even think about the view count, focus on the amount of uploads, and you'll see through that what works, what doesn't, and you'll be better. So the way I started was, for every video I upload, I'm gonna learn something new before doing it. I jump onto Justin Odisho, he's a guy doing tutorials. I jump on Peter McKinnon's, I jump on anybody that was teaching people how to do certain things, and I would try to further my skill for every single upload, which is time consuming, but as a result, now I can do certain, you know, zoom transitions, or I can do this, or I can, you know, things that guys are like, oh, you edit so well. It's like, I made 85 videos before I was capable of maybe putting together a half decent film. Right. And so my now thing is like, if I can get somebody to watch that video from beginning to end, I've won. That's all I focus on, is just capturing somebody's attention.
No, that's awesome. What would you say is the #1 most important thing for people who maybe have always wanted to get into starting a YouTube channel, and they've always wanted to, you know, create videos? Maybe they watch people like Casey Neistat and you know, the Ben Browns, and they follow those guys. Maybe they even follow you, and they want to know, you know, how do they create a channel?
How do they start?
You're
Where to
also
start?
earning like some of an income from
Sure,
it, right?
but it's more, I'm more the opportunity stemming from the channel that's resulting in me able to maybe take it on more full time. Right. So like a company flying me over and doing that, as long as I can make content that's also good enough for these guys to watch, that's interesting, then I'm into it. But for me, my prized possession right now is not my bank balance, it's whether these guys enjoy my videos. And so that's what I'm really trying my best to find a balance between. They know I need to live, but at the same time, I don't want to produce boring content, because then what happens to the growth? It just levels off. And for me, this year is all about growth. So I would say, you know, when it comes to where to start, like, do you know how to make a video? Do you not know how to make a video? If you don't, you got to start by learning how to make a video, right? Like, you're the opposite. And if I'm going to refer this question back onto you, you're so talented at what you do when it comes to film and photography, but you're not putting anything out there. So how are you ever going to grow unless you do that, right? Why don't you just water down that potential professionalism by like a percentage?
About you, and this is why we're such good friends, is because you push people and you push your friends, and you are like, I love the fact that like whenever I haven't posted something, you'll like jump onto my Instagram and be like, Gideon, why have you not posted it
100%.
in like 2 weeks or something? Because
you are so critical of yourself that you don't put it out there. Right. Same for like in the yachting industry, the guys that are just don't want to get the jobs, or they're not making the effort to look for the work, they don't get the work. So wherever you want to be in your head, you must realize that there's a start and there's an end. And for you to get there, there's a bunch of stuff in between that you have to figure out, and there's no recipe. But you're certainly not going to get there if you don't try. So whatever it is that you're like psyched up on, and because you're a content creator, the world is out there. They're ready to listen and watch. If you've got something to add, which you do, because I learned the majority of my anything from meeting guys like you and seeing how you interact with B-roll and stuff like that, why are you not putting it out there? If I can learn from you and I can grow my channel, there's no reason why you couldn't do the exact same thing in your field. So for me, I just feel like you're constantly limiting yourself by yourself.
Right. So, okay, so there's another thing that I wanted to get back to is you started in real estate, right?
Yeah, sure.
So now I'm jumping a bit. But how do you think it has benefited you, you know, coming from a sales perspective?
Background,
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Especially with the industry that you're in, you know, you're in yachting, you know, there's a lot of people that sell boats, sell houses, sell cars, sell homes, and a lot of people watch this content because they're interested in that area, or, you know, those kind of things. And so how do you think that has helped you to have a sales background, come from dealing with people and,
it's an
you know,
awesome
selling
question.
loans?
It's an awesome question.
into what you're doing now, all of a sudden you're creating content which is creative, you're actually sort of the opposite of me, because I am the creative side trying to go into like sort of more putting the content out there for and going into marketing sort of area, whereas you're more of like coming from a sales background going into the creative area. So
So here's my take on sales. There's a couple guys standing around us right now. You're a salesman. You're a salesman. You're a salesman. I'm a salesman. Of what? Of yourself. In every situation, whether you're meeting people for the first time, whether you're looking for a job on a boat, whatever your dream idea is, even if it's content creating, you're pitching and selling yourself of an authority, perhaps in an environment of photography like yourself. You've got skills, so you could be selling the fact that you know what you're talking about. I've always believed when I'm walking the docks looking for a job when I first started, I was selling my own confidence to get guys to want to hire me. So I truly believe that there's no way around sales, right? So it wasn't in fact the real estate that helped me within what I'm doing now. It was the fact that I was successful in real estate as well, because I realized the value of sales, of selling myself from a confidence point of view. So I think there's a mix and match. You, perhaps if you're saying you're not as salesman-y and more creative, it's about getting that creative expertise that you've got across to whoever's watching, to realize that they've just bought whatever you're selling or talking about for free. Yeah? You're providing a service for an upload, and all they have to do is like and subscribe. So I truly believe sales is an environment of all aspects of everything you do in life, and that's how I've taken everything. So I know that if I don't engage that viewer for the 6 minutes or the 4.5 minutes or the whatever it is, that they're not going to subscribe, or they're not going to comment, or they're not going to get something from it. I treat everything like sales.
Awesome. So did you come out of school and go into real estate? Or?
I went out of school and went into yachting.
Came out of school, went into
worked
yachting.
into the yachting industry.
So let's talk about that. You were in high school in Cape Town, right?
Yeah, George actually, which is further down the coast, but
George.
yeah, 4 hours from Cape Town.
Okay. So after high school, you went straight into yachting, and what made you want to get into yachting?
I realized I wanted to earn fairly good money and I wanted to travel, and that provided both. I'm not the most academic person in the world, because it never interested me that much, but I'm totally hands-on, and like I've always been good at driving boats. I used to do that when I was 16. So for me, it was just a natural thing. My family had been in the industry, so I saw some of the money that they were making, and I just realized that there was an opportunity. And I think that's what my channel's actually provided, is an opportunity people didn't know about. So that's why I went into yachting. I did make some money, but then every time I came back, I tried to start a business, because yachting was never I didn't want to be a captain. I didn't want to make it my entire career. Let me put it that way. So, and I'm happy to tell people that, this is what I love. This, meeting people and creating content and inspiring people to do what they want to do, is something I've always wanted to work towards. I went into yachting, and that was as a result of, it's just ironic, I didn't even want to make content about yachting when I started. I mean, they put that on camera. I didn't. It was like, I'm not sure I want to have like 1,000 people mailing me, but then I realized that was something I was good at, I was interested in. I created awesome content, and why the hell wouldn't I want to be surrounded by a bunch of boats? So I almost realized like I took for granted what was right in front of me, and so I started to create content.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think a lot of us do that. A lot of us take for granted what we have.
What you have, because you're so used to it. Like you. You might not think you have that much to offer to people behind the camera. Like they could go to Peter McKinnon, or they could go to, but there's certain things that you do that's unique to you, and the way that you explain things has taught me things. Like, so if it's everybody's got skills, and they've got something that they know more about. Guy sitting behind the cammer over there is an engineer. He knows more about engineering that I'm ever gonna know, right? that I'm ever gonna know. So if like, you just can't be good at absolutely everything or know everything about everything. So whatever you think you take for granted, maybe that's your strong suit. How are you gonna know unless you create some content, put it out there? Not one video, not 5, not 10. As many as it takes, if that's what you want to work towards. My word for word thing was, it doesn't matter whether it takes me 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. If it gets me to the point of where I want to be, then who cares how long it takes? Because that's where I want to be. So if that's what I'm working towards, and every subscriber that goes up is one less towards my final outcome, I'm growing. That's how you should look at it. One view, 10, get 15 views on a video. We used to get nervous when talking in front of classmates about an oral for a language, or talking about that's only 20-30 people. You can get 100 views on YouTube just by having cats in it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Exactly, like, you're reaching more people than what you could have ever had imagined. But people see 100 views and then they see Casey with 3 million views and they feel like, but you don't realize, like, you're talking in front of 100 bloody people, man. Exactly. That's awesome.
And imagine those people were actually in the room, and that's, you know, that should make
you. Yeah, and the way I saw it is, if I changed one person's life for the better, I've already succeeded. And that's how I feel about everything. And now I have the opportunity at the moment where I'm just under 50,000 at the point of this interview, and I'm receiving messages from people that are saying that I'm really helping them, or I've provided a second option. And I love that, man. Like, that could never go to my head. Like, I'm humbled by the opportunity to give somebody a chance for something that helps them, you know? And that's so fulfilling, man. Even if it stopped right here.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's legend. So, I mean, what's your next step? What is next for Jared Watney? So you're traveling, you know, you've done a few trips, you've been to Australia, you come to Fort Lauderdale, you're making creating content for these companies, and it's what you love.
Yeah.
You're meeting
my next
people.
step.
What is next on your cards? What is your goals in the foreseeable future? And
I'm not going to sleep at night until Gideon gets 1,000 subscribers.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. No.
Wow, that's awesome.
No, I'll come back to what I've just said. But what's next for me is to try and not focus too much on view count, which is something I suggest to people to do, even though it's really easy to watch stuff. So I want to create as much content as I can possibly fit into a week. Yeah, as much as I can. That's what I want to do, of a certain quality, and I want to up my quality progressively as opposed to going downhill. So for me, it's now about progression in followers. Why followers? Not because it's a number, but because it provides more opportunity. Yeah, so the more people that subscribe, the more emails I might get about creating more content of stuff that people have never seen. It's about the content. So the more subscribers I have, the more availability to create crazy content.
The more you can provide.
Correct. So progression, right? I'm not earning necessarily enough money off YouTube views alone to just make content, but I'd love to get to that phase where I can really decide whether I want to work with a company or not, because at the end of the day, it's not that I'm putting anything on my channel I don't want to. I really want to make authentic, true content that portrays myself. And so that's a progression standard. So progression in creating content more full-time, progression in helping more people in starting businesses. And I think for right now, if you had to say by the end of this year, it's just working towards growth. My goal for the end of the year is 100,000 subscribers by December 30th, 2019. And I'm on 48,500 at the time of this interview, so you guys will be able to go and measure that if you're watching all the way to this end. If you are, thank you, but that's what I'm aiming for.
Well, I'm not going to help you much there, so...
You never know, bro.
My,
speaking of which, like, if you are watching this, please subscribe to Gideon, like, from me, because...
From the Jared's mouth.
Because this guy's talented, and if I can get him to upload the content that I know he already has an external hard drive, this will be a pretty epic channel. So hurry up, bro, okay? 20 videos by... What date is it? What date is it today?
Today is the 7th.
Today is the 7th of April, May. So I want at least 20 videos by the 1st of July.
Wow. Okay.
3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Challenge accepted.
So how many is that a week? How many we got?
Too many.
20 videos. That's not. So that's, in theory, that's
I've
what?
got a full-time job,
that's
man.
5 videos. That's quite a lot. Yeah, you'll be alright. I can make it happen. By the 1st of July.
Can I post my work
May,
content,
June, July. Yeah, of course you could, but how you did it?
Yeah, true. Okay.
20 videos by...
True. I could do tutorials or like
voiceovers, whatever it takes.
Boom. Jared, thank you so much, dude.
I appreciate it. I'm stoked to have this.
Checking you and chatting with you, because you're always so inspirational.
Thank you, man.
Super, just your attitude. Like, you're so pumped on life. You're always positive. You're always like, you know, and that's just, I always appreciate, you know, being in your company. So
thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And to everybody watching, if there's something that you're half good at and love doing, then that's what you should really be working towards. If you've got a full-time job, find the time to change it, because if you're going to be in an environment which you're uncomfortable all the time, that's how it's going to stay. You've got to hustle and you've got to make it work. So my suggestion would just be to do what you love as much as you can, even if it's only once a week or twice a week or once a month. But that process is going to progress you forward into what you're doing. So good luck, and thanks for watching. Thanks, bro.
And what do they do? Like, what do those YouTubers do?
You got to be don't subscribe, hit the down button, unlike twice. Hit it twice, because then you'll see what happens. Hit it twice. So that's cool. And then comment down below who you think is more handsome.
You win.
I'm joking. Thanks for watching, guys. Like that subscribe button, comment on the like button, and we'll see you later.
I love it.
Okay. Sweet. Thanks, dude.
That was awesome.
I won't stop. I won't stop. No, 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 no. I won't stop.